It's really brilliant to see everybody here today. Thank you so much for coming. Although we've closed the curtains, we're here because we're looking at climate change, and we're looking at the big flag that's flying on the racecourse. It's called We Are Watching, and it's part of CAS's International Arts Programme. And it's a piece of work that's come from Switzerland, created by an artist called Dan Asher, and we'll hear from Dan via video link shortly as to why he's created the piece and what inspired it. And we've programmed it because we wanted to find a space to have a conversation about climate change. We've been reaching out to schools and asking them to think about creative protests around climate change, and we've just seen Hall Cross's piece of work here as well, and there'll be other work later. I'm really pleased that everybody's been able to join us today, and it's really important. Thank you to the students for coming. Thank you to Herd Rail, the Herd Group, for sponsoring and enabling this event, and also for the racecourse for providing a space out there for us to fly this flag. The flag is huge. We had real problems trying to find somewhere in Doncaster to put it up, but it looks great, and it is hopefully drawing attention to the issue. So I'm going to now ask you to watch a video by Dan Asher, who is the artist and activist based in Switzerland, who's got a message for everybody here today.
Hello, my name is Dan Asher. I'm an activist from Geneva, Switzerland. Thank you so much for having the flag with you today. It's really important that it's with you here. That means that the flag is on its way to the COP26 in Glasgow. The flag was first created for the COP25 in Madrid in 2019, and now it started its 2021 tour in Geneva, and then it went on to Greenwich in London, and now making its way to finish with Edinburgh and Glasgow COP26 early November. The We Are Watching flag is basically representing the eyes of the world coming together. It's made up of thousands and thousands of portraits that people have sent me from 190 countries around the world, basically every single country in the world. All these portraits come together to form a giant eye watching global leaders coming together.
You can hear a bit of a technical hitch, so we're just going to rewind and just restart that video again, because it's really important to hear from Dan about why he created the piece and a bit of the history about it. And also, as he's mentioned, it is on its way to COP26, which is the big climate change United Nations convention that's going to be happening in November in Glasgow. So he's going to talk a little bit about why he created the piece and what it's made up of, which, as you'll, if you can get a little bit closer to the flag afterwards, you'll see that it's made up of thousands of photographs of people who have submitted their photos because they care about climate change. And just to say, you can still do that. If you go onto the We Are Watching website, Dan's website, there's still a huge movement of people uploading their photos and messages to say that they care about climate change, and that at the moment is really gaining momentum. So please do that after this event and submit your own photo. That would be brilliant. Are we nearly ready to go? We will come back to Dan. So let me introduce to you Phil Shepherd, who's a writer and illustrator. He's absolutely passionate about working with young people and unlocking their creativity through literacy. And through his work through the National Literacy Trust at Doncaster Stories, he delivers a whole load of fun and exciting projects right across the borough to promote a love for reading. And he's going to be sharing a poem with us today. Thanks, Phil.
Okay, thank you so much, Deborah. It's wonderful to be here this morning. As Deborah mentioned, I work for Doncaster Stories, which is part of the National Literacy Trust, and we're here to get the young people of Doncaster reading. So as part of that, we have a free book available to everybody here today. You don't have to be a young person. It's Protect the Planet by Jess French. So when the show's finished, if you want, anyone can come to the front and grab a copy of this book to take with you. But as Deborah mentioned, apart from that, I'm also a writer and an illustrator myself, and I've written a poem especially for today. Of course, it has an environmental message to fit with the theme of the day. But also coming up is Halloween. Even monsters, of course, need to do their bit to protect the planet, don't they? So this poem is called Mean and Green, okay? And I need your help with the chorus of this poem, okay? I need you to get in touch with your inner monster and give me your hands up like this, okay? Good. Everybody, please, hands up like this, and then a mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Fantastic. So the chorus goes like this. We're mean, but we're green. We're feared near and far, but we do our bit for the planet. And then it's you. Mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Brilliant. So nice and loud, very enthusiastic, please. Here goes. The first monster is a vampire. I may want to suck your blood and leave a nasty scar, but I recycle all my bottles. I recycle all my jars. We're mean, but we're green. We're feared near and far, but we do our bit for the planet. Mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Brilliant. Let's see what's next. A ghost. I may haunt your house and give you all a nasty fright, but after scaring you by shouting boo, I turn off all the lights. We're mean, but we're green. We're feared near and far, but we do our bit for the planet. Mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Brilliant. Next up, a witch. A witch. I may cast evil spells. I can turn you into a newt. But I don't drive a car, and my broomstick won't pollute. We're mean and we're green, we're feared near and far, but we do our bit for the planet. Mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Brilliant. Next, it's a werewolf. I may howl at the moon. On your flesh I may devour. But my time is up when the sun comes up, so I switch to solar power. We're mean and we're green, we're feared near and far, but we do our bit for the planet. Mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Brilliant, especially down here. Okay, the last one now. We've got a zombie. Okay, so when we get to the chorus, your biggest laugh on this one, please. Your biggest evil cackle. I may eat human brains, and my looks might make you gag. Blech. But when I do my shopping, I recycle all my bags. We're mean, but we're green. We're feared near and far, but we do our bit for the planet. Mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Fantastic. So give yourselves a round of applause. And that's it from me. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil. That was brilliant. I'd like now to introduce the Mayor, Ros Jones. On Thursday, the 19th of September 2019, the full council unanimously declared an emergency, a climate emergency, backed by Ros Jones, and to take swift and immediate action. The ultimate goal, to reduce carbon emissions by 85% borough-wide by 2030 and to achieve net zero by 2040. So Ros is going to be talking to us today about Doncaster's commitment.
I'm not going to be quite as entertaining as Mean and Green, but hopefully we'll get the story over to you. But you can all do Mean and Green at the end of this, so thank you. So, just over 2 years ago, I declared a climate and biodiversity emergency. Since then, Doncaster has suffered significant flooding, wildfires, heat waves, and increased frequency and scale of freak weather. The planet is telling us that we must act now. We must all play our part in order to tackle this climate and biodiversity crisis head on. Team Doncaster has recently developed a new environment and sustainability strategy, which is based on the latest data and local resident opinion, derived directly from numerous Doncaster Talk exercises. This consultation took place along the work of Climate and Biodiversity Commission, established following full council's declaration of a climate and biodiversity emergency. At the heart of the strategy, it is to reduce Doncaster's contribution to change the climate, protect and improve biodiversity in Doncaster, to reduce carbon emissions by 85% by 2030 and be carbon neutral by 2040. The strategy covers a broad range of topics such as transport, building, waste, the green economy, flooding, trees, woodland and green spaces. And I would like to thank Ed for leading the Doncaster Climate Commission. They presented a large number of challenges and recommendations on how we reach zero carbon. We must do this to ensure that we leave a safe and habitable planet for generations to come. As part of our Doncaster Delivering Together 10-year strategy, our focus is on people, place and planet. I'm proud to be born and bred in Doncaster, to represent and speak for the whole of Doncaster Borough. I want to see a greener Doncaster. The management of a number of Doncaster's amenity green spaces is being reviewed as part of a naturalisation pilot to improve biodiversity. Our Million Tree Challenge will see over 1 million trees planted across Doncaster and create green hearts in every principal town. We are also working with partners to support ongoing recovery and restoration efforts to safeguard conservation of Hatfield Moors following last year's devastating fires. We are carrying out a buildings energy efficiency programme to ensure the council's offices, depots, community buildings are energy efficient and have renewable energy supplies. Our recent new builds at Hurton Triangle, Savoy Cinema and Retail and the new Dagenham Library have over 240 kilowatts of installed solar capacity and very high energy efficiency standards. And we will continue to modernise the council fleet, purchasing more electric vehicles and phasing out existing models. Our ambition is to have a full zero emissions fleet. We are also creating 15 future parks to enhance the active use and existing green spaces across the borough and investing £100 million on new warmer council houses. But we do need significant government investment to deliver a borough-wide housing retrofit programme to make our homes as energy efficient as possible. This will contribute to local and national net zero carbon targets. Doncaster is placed 8th among UK local authorities for the level of installed capacity of solar panels on housing, with 24 megawatts of generating capacity on 7,049 homes, with more being planned in Doncaster. We must continue to invest in true renewable energy, locally and nationally, with alternative power generation, such as solar and tidal wave. We have seen in recent weeks the issue and prices rise when we rely on foreign imports of gas and electricity. As a country and a population, we must continue to reduce our levels of waste, ensuring we reuse and recycle whenever possible, buying local and British produce wherever possible again. Let's reduce our food miles and support British farmers and producers. Combating climate change and levelling up Doncaster should be tackled in unison. Doncaster has the capacity and the ability to be a national and international leader in clean and green economic growth. But we do require significant long-term funding from government to make this happen. We need to improve our local public transport network to encourage people to catch a train or bus or walk, and thus make public transport become the chosen mode of travel. The eyes of the world will be on the UK and COP26 in a few weeks' time. Our national and international leaders need to be bold with their ambition, but also with their commitment to the funding and the resources to deliver. We must act now, but all of us, because it is together we in Doncaster will play our part in delivering. Thank you.
Thanks, Ros. And now I'd like to invite Michael Hurd from the Hurd Group, who have enabled this project to happen with their support. So I'd like to invite Michael just to say a few words about their kind of green credentials as a company.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. Just to explain who I am, Michael Hurd. I'm a trustee of Cast the Theatre, but also I'm the chairman of a group of Doncaster companies called Hurd Group, working mainly in the railway industry. So I'm here with a team from Japan, from the Netherlands, and also our local guys. What we do is lots of different things, but a big focus on what we do is made out of recycled products. So we have a product which is a railway sleeper, which is made out of recycled plastic bags, which again would go to landfill or be burnt at the incineration plants. We also make a mat system, which is made out of recycled aviation tyres. But our biggest product that we have within the group that has the great green credentials is something called Green Trough, and we supply that in the UK with aid of our Japanese partners and future local production. So that is a cable trough system made out of recycled plastic bottles. So we use 100 million plastic bottles a year to make this product to go into the UK rail infrastructure. We've recycled 800 million of these plastic bottles so far, and we're opening a new production base in the UK to increase our recycling capability. So what I want to do now is I'm going to ask everyone under the age of 30 to put their hands up, please. I deliberately did it 30 because there's two guys that work with me that are 26, 27 or 28. Right, okay, well I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you people. And the first thing I want to say is sorry. Sorry for what my generation have done and what previous generations have done to this planet. And what we're here today, supporting this flag and supporting the future of the climate change, is trying to get the world in a better place for you. So the world is like a really big container ship or an oil tanker. It takes a long time to change it and to move it. And we're starting to do that now. And I hope that within my lifetime, we have made a change. And again, I apologize for what we've done, but the future is yours. So thank you, and please, please look after the environment. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Michael. And now I'd like to introduce Ed Miliband, MP for Doncaster North, to come up. Ed is one of the most experienced climate advocates in frontline politics and was the country's first climate change Secretary of State in 2008 when the UK introduced the world's first climate change bill. Welcome, Ed.
I might take this out. Deborah, thank you so much. And it is great to be here. I want to thank CAST for the incredible job they do and also for organising this event. Excuse me. I want to thank our brilliant mayor, Ros Jones, and also to say to Michael, you spoke incredibly well about, if I can put it this way, our generation's failures and responsibility. I also want to acknowledge we've got other people who are part of the Doncaster Climate Commission with us today, and I want to acknowledge them too. So I think I just want to say three things really, which is the first thing is to say something about COP26, which I'm hoping to be at least for part of it. This is the big meeting in Glasgow in the beginning of November, 2 weeks at the beginning of November. What's it all about? Because lots of people are talking about this COP26, but not really saying what it's about. It's about world leaders and governments of the world coming together to say what they are going to do to protect the environment and prevent climate change. And the reality is that we are a long way away from where we need to be in terms of what individual countries have done. The world's done this funny thing, which is to say it wants to keep global warming to 1.5 degrees. But if you add up all the pledges made by individual countries, it adds up to something like 2.7 degrees of warming. So it's like, it's easy to say, well, we should all do our bit, but then when it comes to countries doing their bit, they're not doing it. And so the importance of COP26 is very simple, really, to put world leaders on the spot, to make it embarrassing for them, to say to them, okay, you know, you say you want to tackle climate change, you say you want to limit global warming, 1.5 degrees will still be very bad for lots and lots of people in the world and for biodiversity and so on, but you say you want to do this, okay, now's the time you've got to deliver. And that's basically what COP26 is all about. The second thing I just want to say is the flag is brilliant. And the flag is really, really important message. It's not just a flag. We are watching. It's such an important message because we want world leaders to do the right thing, but unless we all put pressure on them to do the right thing, they're not going to. And that's about people in Britain putting pressure on our government, and it's about people from across the world putting pressure on their governments to saying, we really care about this issue. You know, I agree so much with what Michael said. This is, in all areas, we should hear the voice of the younger generation and young people, but in this area more than any other, because the fact is you're going to have to live with this for much longer than we do. You're going to have to live with the consequences of the climate emergency. Now, we can't change the past, but we can change the future, the present and the future. But your role in putting pressure on leaders, MPs, the mayor, councillors, governments, Boris Johnson, everyone you can, to say we care about this issue and we want you to act. Your voice is incredibly important in this. And any chance you get in relation to some of the events that are being done around COP26, please use your voice, because people, that is what makes, I say as a politician, that's what makes politicians listen. When the people who vote for them or don't vote for them, or might vote for them in the future, say to them, we want you to do the right thing. The third and final thing I just want to say, and it reflects very much what Ros said in her excellent speech, is everyone talks about the emergency and the problems, and we should talk about the emergency. But we should also talk about how we can create a better world as we tackle the climate crisis. You know, there are thousands, tens of thousands of people in fuel poverty in Doncaster who can't afford to heat their homes. There are thousands of people who want work in Doncaster. There are so many people in our borough who want more access to green spaces. And the answer is, if we tackle the climate emergency, we can answer all of those things too. Because if we insulate homes, provide zero carbon heating, we can actually get rid of fuel poverty, abolish fuel poverty. If we create and invest for the future, we can create jobs at good wages for people with strong unions. If we plant trees, as Ros is doing, plant those thousands of trees, we can create more green spaces for people. So this is completely about stopping the disaster that is coming down the track. But it is also about the better world that we can create together. There is an optimistic, hopeful part to this, as well as the disaster that we've got to all act together to present. Last thing I'll say is this: there's a young lady, Greta Thunberg, who some of you will have heard of. Lots of people, I think, will have heard of her. Very, very famous climate activist now. What did she do 3 years or so ago? She basically said, I'm going on strike from my school. I'm stopping going to school 1 day a week because I care so much about the climate crisis. Now, you'd have thought, if I'd told you that some years ago, you'd have said, well, okay, if there's one girl in Sweden who's going to go on strike, that's not going to have any impact. She can't have an effect. And she's had an amazing effect around the world. You know, she's mobilized young people, millions of young people around the world. Now, we can't all be Greta Thunberg, but we can all make a difference. And that's the most important thing. You know, it's often hard to think you can have an effect on, you know, leaders, local leaders, national leaders. You can have an effect. Greta Thunberg shows that the power of us coming together can have an effect. So thank you so much to Cass for organising this event. It is a really important event. It is a really important moment for the world. Most of all, though, thank you to you for caring about this issue, being here, and for everything you're going to do in the future to make sure that we do come together, as Ros said, that we do tackle the climate emergency and also create a better world. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Ed. And now I hope we can finish this event with the video that we tried to open it with, which is the artist Dan Asher talking about the piece we are watching. And I was just wondering, before we start, do you think we can open the curtains to see all that, just looking at the technical, will that affect the video? Okay, all right. But imagine that you can see the flag.
Hello, my name is Dan Asher. I'm an activist from Geneva, Switzerland. Thank you so much for having the flag with you today. It's really important that it's with you here. That means that the flag is on its way to the COP26 in Glasgow. The flag was first created for the COP25 in Madrid in 2019, and now it started its 2021 tour in Geneva, and then it went on to Greenwich in London, and now making its way to finish with Edinburgh and Glasgow COP26 early November. The We Are Watching flag is basically representing the eyes of the world coming together. It's made up of thousands and thousands of portraits that people have sent me from 190 countries around the world, basically every single country in the world. All these portraits come together to form a giant eye watching global leaders coming together at these climate events. It carries a message which is, we are watching. You have a huge responsibility and you have to be up to this responsibility. This flag is very big, it's 30 meters by 20 meters. And the idea is that there's all these individual faces coming together, you know, to form a whole and to raise this voice together. I'm really sorry I can't be there with you today, but I'm there with you with all my heart, and I'm really, really looking forward to see images coming. So don't hesitate, you know, like, take photos, spread them, spread the message, because today is the day. There has never been a more important time to raise our voices for our shared future on this planet. So thank you very much, and looking really forward to, you know, seeing your images, your videos appearing, and then the message being spread further. Thank you again.
And that concludes today. Thank you all so much for coming. There's some teas and coffees still there, or please join us outside and get a closer view at the flag and take those photos and videos. Thank you all very much. Thank you.